You know what breaks my heart? Every single day I meet people who tell me they don't have enough time. Priyanka, I don't have time to chase my dreams. I don't have time to work on my passion. I don't have time to spend with my family. I don't have time to take care of my health. And every single time I hear this, I want to stop that person and ask them one simple question. Do you think Elon Musk has more than 24 hours in his day? Do you think Oprah Winfrey gets 25 hours while you get 24? Do you think Beyoncé has a secret clock that gives her extra time? No. We all have the same 24 hours. The difference isn't in the time we have. The difference is in how we use it. I'm standing here today not because I'm special, not because I'm more talented than you, and definitely not because I had it easy. I'm standing here because I learned something very early in my life, something that changed everything for me. I learned that time is the only resource that's truly democratic. It doesn't matter if you're born rich or poor, if you're living in Mumbai or in a small village. If you have connections or you're starting from zero, every single one of us gets exactly 24 hours every day. And what you do with those 24 hours will determine whether you live a life of regrets or a life of achievements. Let me take you back to when I was 17 years old. I had just won Miss World, and suddenly my life changed overnight. People thought I had it made. They thought success had just fallen into my lap. But here's what they didn't see. They didn't see me waking up at 4 in the morning to go to the gym before my dance classes. They didn't see me studying Hindi cinema, learning about camera angles, understanding lighting, practicing my dialogue delivery until my voice was hoarse. They didn't see me attending acting workshops, meeting directors, reading scripts late into the night. They didn't see me falling asleep in cars while being driven from one meeting to another. They didn't see the rejections, the people who said I couldn't act, the critics who said I was just a beauty pageant winner who would disappear in a year. But I knew something they didn't. I knew that if I wanted to survive in this industry, if I wanted to make it in Bollywood, if I wanted to eventually break into Hollywood, I couldn't waste a single hour. I couldn't afford to sleep in. I couldn't afford to party every night. I couldn't afford to get comfortable, because comfortable is where dreams go to die. Now, I'm not telling you this to impress you. I'm telling you this to impress upon you one fundamental truth. Successful people aren't successful because they have more time. They're successful because they treat their time like it's the most valuable currency in the world. And it is. You can always make more money. You can always rebuild relationships. But you can never, ever get back time once it's gone. So today, I want to share with you exactly how successful people manage their 24 hours. I want to break down for you the strategies, the mindsets, the habits that separate people who achieve their dreams from people who just dream about achieving them. And I promise you, if you implement what I'm going to share with you today, your life will change. Not might change, will change. Let's start with the most important hours of your day, the hours between when you wake up and when you start your actual work. Most people wake up, hit the snooze button 3 times, drag themselves out of bed, rush through their morning, grab whatever they can eat on the go, and show up to their day already exhausted. And then they wonder why they don't have energy, why they don't feel motivated, why they can't seem to get ahead. You're setting yourself up for failure before your day even begins. I learned this from my father. He was in the Indian Army, and he taught me that how you start your morning determines how you experience your entire day. Successful people understand this. They protect their mornings like it's sacred time. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, wakes up at 3:45 in the morning. Michelle Obama wakes up at 4:30. Dwayne The Rock Johnson wakes up at 4. Richard Branson wakes up at 5. Now, I'm not saying you need to wake up at 4 in the morning, but I am saying that you need to wake up early enough to give yourself time to prepare for the day instead of reacting to the day. When I'm shooting, I wake up at 5. When I'm not shooting, I wake up at 6. And the first thing I do before I check my phone, before I look at any messages, before I respond to any emails, I spend time with myself. I meditate, I work out, I plan my day. These first 2 hours of my morning are non-negotiable. Nobody gets access to me during this time. Not my manager, not my team, not even my family, unless it's an emergency. Because I know that if I give away my morning to everyone else's agenda, I'll never have time for my own. Think about it. The moment you wake up and grab your phone, you're already living in reaction mode. You're responding to what everyone else wants from you. Someone sent you an email. Someone tagged you on Instagram. Someone messaged you. Someone posted something that made you angry or jealous or anxious. And just like that, before you've even brushed your teeth, your day is no longer yours. Your mental energy is already being drained by other people's priorities. I want you to try something for the next 30 days. For just 30 days, don't touch your phone for the first hour after you wake up. Use that time to move your body. Use that time to feed your mind. Use that time to plan your day. Use that time to visualize what you want to achieve. Use that time to remind yourself who you are and who you want to become. I guarantee you, this one change alone will transform your productivity. Now, let's talk about planning. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we don't need to plan because we're flexible, we're spontaneous, we're going with the flow. Let me tell you something, going with the flow is how you end up drowning. Successful people don't go with the flow. They create the flow. They design their days intentionally. Every Sunday night, I sit down and plan my entire week. I look at every single day and I block out time for everything. Time for workouts, time for meals, time for creative work, time for family, time for rest. Everything gets blocked out. And then every night before I go to bed, I review the next day. I know exactly what I need to accomplish. I know exactly where I need to be. I know exactly who I'm meeting with. There are no surprises. And when you eliminate surprises, you eliminate stress. But here's the key. When I plan my day, I don't just fill it with work. I schedule my priorities, not just my tasks. There's a massive difference. Most people make a to-do list of 20 things and then feel like a failure when they only complete 5. That's because they're treating all tasks as equal when they're not. There are tasks that move your life forward, and there are tasks that just keep you busy. Successful people know the difference. I use something called the Eisenhower matrix. It's simple. You divide everything into 4 categories: urgent and important. Important but not urgent. Urgent but not important. Neither urgent nor important. Most people spend their entire lives in the urgent categories, constantly putting out fires, constantly in crisis mode. But that's not where success lives. Success lives in the important but not urgent category. That's where you find things like building relationships, learning new skills, working on your health, developing your craft, planning your future. These things are never urgent, so they're easy to postpone, but they're the things that actually change your life. When I was trying to break into Hollywood, going to auditions in America wasn't urgent. I already had a successful career in Bollywood. I was making good money. I was comfortable, but I knew it was important. I knew that if I wanted to grow as an artist, if I wanted to challenge myself, if I wanted to represent my country on a global stage, I needed to push myself out of my comfort zone. So I made it a priority. I scheduled time for auditions even when I was exhausted from shooting in Mumbai. I scheduled time for acting coaches. I scheduled time for learning about the American entertainment industry. And slowly, over years of consistent effort, doors started opening. I got Quantico, I got Baywatch, I got The Matrix Resurrections. None of that happened because I waited for the perfect time. It happened because I made time for what was important, even when it wasn't urgent. Now, let me address something that I know many of you struggle with. Distractions. We live in the most distracted era in human history. Our phones buzz every few minutes. Social media is designed to hijack our attention. Netflix is creating content to keep us binge watching. The entire world is competing for your attention, and every minute you give to these distractions is a minute you're stealing from your dreams. I'll be honest with you. I love social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I engage with my fans. But I also know it's a tool, and like any tool, it can either serve you or control you. So I have very strict rules. I don't scroll mindlessly. When I go on social media, I go with a purpose. I'm posting content, I'm engaging with specific people, I'm promoting something, and then I get off. I don't fall into the rabbit hole of watching what everyone else is doing and comparing my life to their highlight reels. Do you know what happens when you compare yourself to others on social media? You waste two things. You waste your time and you waste your mental energy. And both of those are finite resources. You cannot get them back. Every minute you spend feeling jealous of someone's vacation, someone's body, someone's relationship, someone's success, is a minute you could have spent working on your own life. I remember when I was starting out, there were actresses who seemed to have everything figured out. They were getting better roles, better endorsements, better magazine covers. And sometimes I would feel that pang of jealousy. But my father told me something I've never forgotten. He said, "Priyanka, don't run their race. Run your own race. Because if you're looking at them, you're not looking at where you're going, and you're going to trip." That advice changed my perspective completely. I stopped comparing. I stopped competing with anyone except the person I was yesterday. And the moment I did that, I freed up so much mental energy that I could now pour into my work, into my growth, into my goals. So here's what I want you to do. Audit your distractions. For 1 week, track how much time you spend on things that don't serve your goals. How much time on social media? How much time watching TV shows you don't even enjoy? How much time gossiping? How much time complaining? How much time worrying about things you can't control? Add it all up. And I promise you, you'll be shocked. Most people waste 3 to 5 hours every single day. That's 20 to 35 hours a week. That's almost a full-time job worth of time that you're just throwing away. Now imagine if you took even half of that time and invested it in something meaningful. Learning a new skill, working on a side business, reading books, exercising, building relationships. In 1 year, you would be unrecognizable. In 5 years, you would be unstoppable. But here's the thing about time management that nobody tells you. It's not really about managing time. It's about managing energy. You can have all the time in the world, but if you don't have the energy, you won't do anything productive with it. This is why taking care of your body isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's a competitive advantage. I work out 6 days a week, not because I'm vain, not because I need to look a certain way for the camera, although that's part of my job. I work out because exercise gives me energy. It clears my mind. It reduces my stress. It makes me sharper. It makes me more creative. It makes me more resilient. When I don't work out, I can feel the difference in my performance throughout the day. My focus is weaker. My patience is shorter. My creativity is limited. Successful people understand that their body is the vehicle for their dreams. If the vehicle breaks down, it doesn't matter how big your dreams are. You're not going anywhere, so they prioritize sleep. They prioritize nutrition. They prioritize movement. They don't see these things as separate from their success. They see them as fundamental to their success. I know what some of you are thinking. Priyanka, that sounds great, but I don't have time to work out. I'm already overwhelmed. And I'm telling you, you don't have time not to work out, because the energy you get from that 30-minute workout will make you twice as productive for the rest of your day. You'll actually save time because you'll work faster, think clearer, and make better decisions. And let's talk about sleep. We glorify the hustle. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. I only slept 4 hours last night. I'm grinding. I'm hustling. No, you're not hustling. You're hurting yourself. Sleep is not for the weak. Sleep is for the wise. When you don't sleep enough, your cognitive function declines. Your decision-making gets worse. Your emotional regulation suffers. Your immune system weakens. You're literally making yourself less capable while thinking you're being more productive. Jeff Bezos sleeps 8 hours a night. Bill Gates sleeps 7 hours. I aim for 7 to 8 hours. because I know that well-rested Priyanka makes better decisions than exhausted Priyanka. Well-rested Priyanka is more creative than exhausted Priyanka. Well-rested Priyanka is more patient and kind than exhausted Priyanka. The quality of your sleep directly impacts the quality of your life. Now, let's talk about something that makes people uncomfortable, saying no. If you want to manage your 24 hours like successful people, you need to get very comfortable with disappointing people, because the truth is you cannot say yes to your dreams without saying no to a lot of other things. And some of those things will be good things. Some of those things will be invitations from friends. Some of those things will be opportunities that sound exciting. But if they don't align with your priorities, you need to let them go. When I first came to Hollywood, I got invited to every party, every event, every networking opportunity. And at first, I tried to go to everything because I didn't want to miss out. I didn't want people to think I was difficult or antisocial, but I quickly realized that I was exhausting myself trying to be everywhere, and I wasn't making progress on what actually mattered, which was my craft and landing meaningful roles. So I started saying no. I said no to parties. I said no to events that were just for appearances. I said no to projects that didn't excite me, even when they paid well. And at first, it was hard. I worried people would forget about me. I worried I would miss important connections. But you know what happened? By saying no to things that didn't matter, I created space for things that did matter. I had more time to prepare for auditions. I had more time to work with my acting coach. I had more time to research roles and production companies. And because I was more focused, I was more effective. I started booking better roles. I started building deeper relationships with the people who mattered. Every yes to something that doesn't serve your goals is a no to something that does. Think about that. Every time you say yes to scrolling on social media, you're saying no to working on your business idea. Every time you say yes to complaining with friends, you're saying no to reading that book that could change your perspective. Every time you say yes to staying up late watching television, you're saying no to being well, rested, and productive the next day. Successful people are ruthless with their yeses. They understand that their attention is their most valuable asset, and they're not giving it away to just anyone or anything. They protect their time like a dragon protects its treasure. And you need to do the same. But here's where it gets deeper. Time management isn't just about what you do with your hours. It's about who you spend your hours with. Show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you your future. The people you surround yourself with will either elevate you or drain you. There's no in between. I've been very intentional about my circle. I surround myself with people who challenge me, who inspire me, who support my growth. I surround myself with people who are going somewhere, who have ambition, who have values, who hold themselves to high standards. And I've had to distance myself from people who were negative, who were always complaining, who were pulling me into drama, who were comfortable with mediocrity. This doesn't make me a bad person. This makes me a person who values her time and her energy. And if you're serious about success, you need to do the same. You need to evaluate your relationships. Are the people in your life adding value or taking value? Are they pushing you forward or holding you back? Are they celebrating your wins or secretly hoping you fail? I know this is hard. Sometimes the people draining your energy are family members. Sometimes they're childhood friends. Sometimes they're people you care about deeply. But you have to understand you're not responsible for other people's growth. You're only responsible for your own. And if being around someone consistently leaves you feeling depleted, anxious, or small, you need to create boundaries. You need to limit your exposure. You need to choose yourself. Time is too short to spend it with people who don't see your value, who don't respect your dreams, who don't support your journey. Surround yourself with people who make you better. And if you can't find those people, be alone. Solitude is better than bad company. Use that time to work on yourself, to build yourself, to become the kind of person who attracts other high-quality people. Now, let me talk about something that changed everything for me: batching and time blocking. These are two strategies that have probably doubled my productivity. Batching means grouping similar tasks together and doing them all at once. Time blocking means assigning specific blocks of time to specific activities and protecting those blocks fiercely. For example, I don't check emails throughout the day. I batch all my email responses into two 30-minute blocks, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. This way, I'm not constantly interrupted by incoming messages. I'm not in constant reaction mode. I deal with everything at once and then I move on. Same with phone calls, with meetings, with content creation. I batch similar activities together because it's more efficient. Your brain doesn't have to constantly switch contexts, which saves mental energy. And with time blocking, I assign specific times for specific types of work. My mornings are for creative work, for learning my lines, for preparing for roles, for writing, for anything that requires deep focus. I don't schedule meetings in the morning. I don't take calls in the morning. That's my time for deep work. Afternoons are for meetings, for collaborative work, for phone calls. Evenings are for winding down, for family, for rest. Everything has its place. When you structure your day like this, you eliminate decision fatigue. You're not constantly wondering what you should do next. You already know. You look at your calendar, and it tells you exactly where your attention needs to be. This removes so much stress and wasted mental energy. But here's the most important part of time management that almost nobody talks about: rest. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot sprint a marathon. You cannot be productive 24/7. And if you try, you will burn out. And burnout doesn't just mean you get tired. Burnout means you lose your passion. You lose your creativity. You lose your joy. You start resenting the very things you once loved. I learned this the hard way. There was a period in my life where I said yes to everything. I was doing 3 films at the same time. I was endorsing multiple brands. I was attending events every week. I was trying to maintain my presence on social media. I was traveling constantly. And I thought I was crushing it. I thought I was maximizing my opportunities. But my body started breaking down. I was getting sick all the time. I was exhausted even after sleeping. I wasn't enjoying anything anymore. I was just going through the motions. And one day, my mother sat me down and she said, "Priyanka, you're going to kill yourself. You need to slow down. You need to rest." And I said, "I can't rest. If I rest, someone else will take my place. I can't afford to slow down." And she said something I'll never forget. She said, "If you die, someone will definitely take your place. So maybe take care of yourself while you're alive." That hit me hard. I realized I had confused being busy with being productive. I had confused activity with achievement. I was doing a lot, but I wasn't doing anything well. I wasn't present in my own life. I was just surviving, not thriving. So I made a change. I started scheduling rest. I started saying no to projects that didn't excite me, even if they paid well. I started taking days off, real days off, where I didn't work, where I didn't check emails, where I just rested and recharged. And you know what happened? I didn't fall behind. I actually became more successful. Because when I was working, I was fully present. I was energized. I was creative. I was at my best. Rest is not a reward for productivity. Rest is what makes productivity possible. If you want to manage your 24 hours like successful people, you need to schedule time for rest just like you schedule time for work. You need to protect it. You need to honor it. Because if you don't, your body will eventually force you to rest through illness or injury or burnout. Successful people understand that life is a marathon, not a sprint. They pace themselves, they take breaks, they recharge, they know that sustainable success requires sustainable habits. And sustainable habits include rest, include play, include joy, include things that have nothing to do with achievement. Let me share something personal with you. Despite everything I've accomplished, despite all the discipline and time management and hard work, my favorite hours of the week are the hours I spend doing absolutely nothing. The hours where I'm just lying on my couch with my family, watching a movie, laughing, being silly. The hours where I'm not Priyanka Chopra Jonas, the actress or producer or entrepreneur. I'm just Priyanka, a daughter, a wife, a friend, a human being who needs connection and love and rest. Those hours don't show up on my resume. They don't make me money. They don't advance my career, but they make my life worth living. They remind me why I work so hard. They give me perspective. They fill my cup so I can pour into my work with passion and purpose. If your entire life is about productivity, about achievement, about success, you're missing the point of life. Life is meant to be lived, not just accomplished. Your 24 hours should include moments of presence, moments of connection, moments of gratitude, moments of joy. These aren't distractions from your success. These are the foundation of a meaningful life. Now, I want to talk about something that separates good time management from great time management. Leverage. Successful people don't try to do everything themselves. They understand the power of delegation, of collaboration, of building teams. They focus on their zone of genius and they delegate everything else. When I started my production company, Purple Pebble Pictures, I didn't try to do everything. I hired people who were better than me at things I wasn't good at. I hired people who loved doing things I didn't love doing. I focused on the creative vision, on selecting projects, on building relationships, and I let my team handle the details, the logistics, the execution. This freed up massive amounts of my time that I could now invest in other opportunities, in learning, in growing. But more importantly, things got done better and faster because I had experts handling them instead of me fumbling through areas where I wasn't skilled. You don't have to do everything yourself. In fact, you shouldn't. Every hour you spend doing something someone else could do better is an hour you're not spending on what only you can do. What is your unique value? What are you the best at? What lights you up? Focus on that. Everything else, delegate or eliminate. And if you're thinking, I can't afford to hire help, start small. Maybe you can't hire a full-time assistant, but can you hire a virtual assistant for a few hours a week? Can you use technology to automate repetitive tasks? Can you batch errands so you're not constantly running around? Can you meal prep so you're not cooking every day? There are always ways to buy back your time. You just have to be creative and intentional about it. Let's talk about something else. Dead time. The time you spend commuting, waiting in lines, sitting in waiting rooms, transitioning between activities. Most people waste this time. They scroll on their phones. They zone out. They complain about being stuck. Successful people turn dead time into productive time. I never waste time in cars. If I'm being driven somewhere, I'm either returning phone calls, or I'm reading scripts, or I'm listening to audiobooks or podcasts, or I'm meditating, or I'm visualizing my goals. That time in the car isn't dead time. It's productive time. Same with flights. Same with waiting rooms. I always have something with me. A book, a script, my journal, my headphones. I'm always learning, always moving forward. If you commute an hour each way to work, that's 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month, almost 500 hours a year. That's the equivalent of 12 full-time work weeks. Imagine what you could learn in 500 hours. You could become fluent in a new language. You could read 50 books. You could learn a new skill. You could build a side business. Don't waste this time. Use it. Now, here's a mindset shift that's critical. Stop thinking about time as something you have to kill. Stop saying things like, I'm just killing time until this meeting starts, or I'm just killing time on the weekend. Time isn't something to kill. Time is something to honor, to value, to treasure. Every moment is an opportunity. Every hour is a gift. Treat it that way. Successful people have an urgency about them. Not anxiety, but urgency. They understand that life is short. They understand that there are no guarantees. They understand that tomorrow isn't promised, so they don't procrastinate. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't put things off until they're ready. They take action now. They start before they're ready. They figure things out along the way. I didn't wait until I was fluent in English to move to America. I didn't wait until I was a perfect actress to audition for Hollywood roles. I didn't wait until I had all the answers to start my production company. I started when I was scared, when I was uncertain, when I didn't know what I was doing, and I figured it out. Because the truth is, you will never feel completely ready. You will never have all the information. You will never eliminate all the risks. At some point, you just have to jump. Time waits for no one. Your dreams can't wait for you to feel ready. Your goals can't wait for you to overcome your fear. Your purpose can't wait for you to build your confidence. Start now. Start today. Start this hour. Take one small action toward what you want. And then tomorrow, take another. And the next day, another. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize you've come so far. Let me tell you about compound interest. Not the financial kind, the life kind. Small actions, repeated consistently over time, create massive results. Reading for 30 minutes a day doesn't seem like much, but over a year, that's 180 hours of reading. That's dozens of books. That's thousands of new ideas. That's transformation. Working out for 30 minutes a day doesn't seem like much, but over a year, that's 180 hours of exercise. That's a completely different body, a completely different energy level, a completely different quality of life. The problem is we overestimate what we can do in a day and underestimate what we can do in a year. We expect immediate results, and when we don't see them, we give up. But success doesn't work like that. Success is the result of small, consistent actions over long periods of time. It's not about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. So when you're managing your 24 hours, don't just think about today. Think about where these habits will take you in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. Because your daily choices are creating your future self. Every hour you invest in yourself is building the life you want to live. Every hour you waste is stealing from that future. I want to share one more thing with you before I close. Purpose. All the time management strategies in the world won't matter if you don't know why you're managing your time. What are you managing your time for? What's the goal? What's the vision? What's the dream? If you don't have a clear purpose, you'll drift. You'll be busy, but you won't be fulfilled. You'll be productive, but you won't be satisfied. My purpose is to tell stories that matter, to represent my country with pride, to break barriers, to open doors for others who look like me, to inspire young girls to dream bigger. That's my why. And every decision I make, every hour I schedule, every opportunity I evaluate, I ask myself, does this serve my purpose? If it does, I lean in. If it doesn't, I let it go. What's your purpose? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What makes you come alive? What would you do even if you weren't getting paid? What impact do you want to have on the world? When you have clarity on these questions, time management becomes easy because you're not just filling your hours. You're investing your hours in what matters most to you. And here's the beautiful thing about living with purpose. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're not running their race. You're running your own race. You're building your own life. You're creating your own definition of success. You stop worrying about what other people think because you're too focused on what you're building. You stop feeling guilty about saying no because you're protecting your yes. Takes a deep breath and looks across the audience with emotion. Look, I'm not going to stand here and tell you this is easy. Managing your time like successful people requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires you to make hard choices. It requires you to disappoint people sometimes. It requires you to say no when you want to say yes. It requires you to keep going when you're tired, when you're scared, when you don't see results yet. But I will tell you this, it's worth it. Every early morning is worth it. Every difficult decision is worth it. Every moment of discipline is worth it. Because on the other side of all that hard work is a life that you designed, a life that reflects your values, a life that's aligned with your purpose, a life that you're proud of. You have 24 hours today. What are you going to do with them? Are you going to waste them scrolling, complaining, procrastinating, or are you going to invest them in becoming the person you're meant to be? Are you going to spend them like everyone else and get the same results as everyone else? Or are you going to spend them like successful people and create extraordinary results? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. Nobody can manage your time for you. Nobody can make you wake up early. Nobody can make you say no to distractions. Nobody can make you prioritize what matters. That's on you. But I'm telling you, if you make that choice, if you commit to managing your 24 hours with intention, with purpose, with discipline, your life will change, not overnight, but day by day, hour by hour, choice by choice, you will build something remarkable. I believe in you. I believe that you have greatness inside you. I believe that you have something unique to offer this world. I believe that your dreams matter, that your goals matter, that your life matters. But belief isn't enough. You have to back up that belief with action. You have to back it up with discipline. You have to back it up with how you spend your 24 hours. So starting tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember that you have the same 24 hours as everyone else, the same 24 hours as the people you admire, the same 24 hours as the people who are achieving things you want to achieve. The difference isn't the time. The difference is what you do with the time. Wake up with purpose, plan with intention, work with focus, rest with guilt-free peace, say no with confidence, say yes with commitment. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Invest in yourself every single day. Protect your energy like it's precious because it is. Protect your time like it's valuable because it is. And never, ever forget that your life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Right now, these 24 hours you have today, they're the only ones you're guaranteed. Use them well. Use them wisely. Use them in service of the life you want to create. Because I promise you, 5 years from now, you will either be exactly where you are now, wishing you had started, or you will be living the life you dreamed of, grateful that you did. The time is now. Your life is now. Your opportunity is now. Don't waste another hour. Don't waste another day. You are capable of so much more than you realize. You have so much potential waiting to be unlocked. But it won't unlock itself. You have to do the work. You have to manage your time. You have to make the choices. And I know you can do it. Because if a 17-year-old girl from India who didn't speak fluent English, who had no connections in the film industry, who was told she would never make it, can build an international career, can produce films, can represent her country on global stages, can break barriers, then you can achieve your dreams too. You absolutely can. You just have to start. You just have to commit. You just have to manage your 24 hours like they matter. Because they do matter. You matter. Your dreams matter. Your time matters. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Don't let fear convince you otherwise. Don't let self-doubt convince you otherwise. You have everything you need right now to start. You have 24 hours. Use them. Honor them. Treasure them. And watch how your life transforms. Pauses and smiles. Warmly thank you for being here today. Thank you for giving me your time. I hope I've honored it. I hope you leave here feeling inspired, feeling empowered, feeling ready to take control of your hours and therefore your life. Now go out there and show the world what you're capable of. Make every hour count. Make every day matter. And create a life that makes you proud. Your time starts now.